Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So in this video I'm going to have a look at what's going on with the pricing of the cheapest Axies in AXIE Infinity. So it's going to be pretty heavy on numbers and pretty heavy on AXIE Infinity. But I like that, so that's why I'm doing it. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at here. This is the internal marketplace for selling and buying and selling, trading AXIE NFTs. So AXIE Infinity blockchain game running on the Ethereum blockchain. These are all NFTs, all unique, all held on the Ethereum blockchain, and this is within the AXIE Infinity kind of interface. Obviously, you can trade these on other marketplaces like OpenSea, but this is the kind of the game marketplace. And we can see here, this one here in red has been banned. Did a video on that recently. So, but what I'm looking at here is all the data I'm going to look at, go through today, is being taken from playing around with this filter. So with this filter, you can kind of move, you can kind of choose different things, different attributes. So you can see this is set at the moment on the lowest price. You can see here, up in the right on the filter here, you can set that lowest price, and I'm filtering this on a breed count of 7, so effectively not filtering on breed count. If I want to go in and look at just for ones with breed 0, I can fiddle around with that sort of stuff, and you can go and look at other things as well. But today in this video, we're just going to look at the cheapest one. So we can see here the cheapest one is currently 0.04 ETH, which is currently $24.15, and we can see that the kind of the pricing range. So if you're wondering where I take my data from, this is where it comes from. But let's go in and have a look at the data. So very simply, I've just been manually kind of logging this data. I'm not doing anything clever. I'm not scraping the data or anything like that. Just manually, every so often, going in and looking at the data. I've not got a vast amount of data points, to be honest. You can see here every one of these dots is a day. So this is about kind of 2 months worth of data, but I've not done it every day. So usual kind of caveats that this is. I'm just looking at basic trends. This could all be I could not have enough data, but it's something I'll be looking at over the next few months, I think, because I think there's some interesting trends. Because I've not got a vast amount of data, my conclusions, while I think they're logical and maybe don't stand up over a 6-month period, and obviously as the price of ETH changes and more people or less people play AXIE Infinity, these things could change. But I think this is an interesting way of looking at data and then trying to come up to some conclusions about what's going on with AXIE Infinity. So what does this graph show? So this is showing the cheapest Axies. So I'm basically looking at that marketplace that we looked at just now, and just taking the data, and I've converted this into dollars, obviously using the ETH dollar price on that day. So you can see here at the end of October, the cheapest Axie was just under $25. That's in yellow. This is just the very cheapest Axie that's on sale, and we can see it bobs up and down. But the trend line is up. As I say, I've not got that much data, so if any of these dots kind of move around, the trend line could be different. But as we go through, you can kind of see if all the trend lines are sort of the same, then it kind of makes sense. Now, what's interesting here is we have the price of Axie going up, the cheapest Axie going up slowly. We also have these ones. This is what in red is the cheapest pure Axie. So the pure Axie means all 6 body parts are the same element as the body, so it's a pure Axie. Say it's all fire or all water or all earth, something like that. So we can see here the price of that started off at, they're obviously rarer because they're harder to kind of get. Started off at kind of $36, $37 and then it's now down to under 35. So interesting here that the price of the cheapest one has gone up slightly. The price of this cheapest pure one has gone down, and then the price of the cheapest pure breed 0. So every time you breed a Axie, the breed count goes up by 1 to a maximum of 7. Every time the breed count goes up, it costs more to breed. So you can think of breed 0 as being something that if you wanted to breed Axies, then it's better to get a breed 0 because it's cheaper to breed. But equally, as some people think of it, if you're going to buy an Axie, you want to buy a breed 0 one because that's kind of shown it's kind of like box fresh or not being used. It's kind of like a way of kind of like a premium one, even though you don't really care because you're not going to breed them. So it's just kind of like a to some degree like a first edition of a book or something like that. You can think of it as that. And what's interesting here is we see the price is much more volatile. So there's compared to the trend line, it goes up and down a lot. But we can see here, again, started off at over $55 and it's now down to about around $40. So quite a big drop in these pure breed zero ones. So what can we think about what's going on here? So normally what you say in economics is if the price of something is going up, it means there's more demand than supply. So more people want these than are being bred at the moment. Obviously with Axie Infinity, people are just breeding these Axies all the time. But there is a cost involved, so there can be more demand. So maybe that's what's happening. It's not, the price hasn't gone up a lot, but this is only a 2-month period, so we can't just say we can't just kind of write it off. So it looks like there's more supply than demand. We don't know if that's because there's loads of demand and not so much supply, or whether it's a combination of the two. We're not going to talk about that sort of stuff. But on these other ones, it seems like there's more demand than supply. And I think what's interesting here is in order to play Axie, you need 3 Axies. That's the bottom line. You need 3. So people have to, if people are interested in the game, they have to come in and buy something. So people generally come in and buy the cheapest one. That means that these other ones, these ones are are not expensive Axies in the big scheme of things. There's Axies selling for thousands of dollars, but these ones, a pure one, it kind of probably gives you some extra ability in the game sort of thing, but it's a bit artificial. And this pure breed zero, again, it seems like there would be a premium on these. But actually what we're seeing from the data is people don't seem to really care very much. So if someone wants to sell one of these, they're having to price it lower and lower in order to sell them. So that to me, that kind of makes sense, that there's people coming in, want to play Axie, and they want to just buy the 3 you need to play the game. They don't really care so much about these other attributes, which don't actually really matter so much. Particularly the breed zero is very artificial. It's very much like people think that's a premium, but it doesn't really help you in the game. And if you buy a breed zero, then you're probably not going to breed it anyway. So what does it matter? Got a bit more data. So what I've done here, this is looking at what was in the previous graph, the yellow option, so the very cheapest Axies. So this is looking at the cheapest Axies. In red we have the very cheapest one, and then in blue we have the average of the cheapest 5. So it just gives us an idea: is one very cheap and the rest of them kind of more expensive? How close are these 2 dots aligned? And actually we see, it goes up and down like all these things, but we can see in both cases it's not just people are trying to dump these cheap ones off, and actually everyone else is selling them at a higher price. The price is going up for all of them, and it's kind of parallel. It depends exactly what's being bought and sold. Sometimes there's a bit of a range, but basically the price of both of them is going up in parallel. However, if we look at the price of the cheapest purebred, the cheapest pure breed zero Axies, again, the red dot is the very cheapest single one, and the blue dot is the cheapest, the average of the price of the cheapest 5. So again, we have the kind of the spread, changes, but it doesn't actually. If we look back, it doesn't. In some days here, there's quite a big range, a few dollars range. When it comes to these ones, there's not much range. So it's not just people trying to dump one cheap one off. Actually. The cheapest 5 are all roughly around the price of the cheapest one. Obviously, the price of the cheapest 5 on average is higher. It has to be higher than the cheapest one, unless they were all priced at exactly the same price. But we can see actually, there's quite a good convergence here. So actually, we can see that there is, this to me seems to highlight there is quite strong downward pressure here. That it's not just people just trying to really kind of price very low just to get rid of these ones. The whole kind of ecosystem is pricing down as well. So that's just one thing to look at. I think that's interesting. I'll be doing some more, looking at some more of this sort of data over the next few months. So if you like that sort of stuff, please do subscribe to the channel. And we do cover lots of other blockchain games and that sort of stuff as well. So I hope you find that kind of stuff interesting. Hope to see you again soon.